welcome to Dixie Quilters with Marlene. And we're not in the South. It's just that Dixie is a family name because people have asked me, well, you're Dixie Quilters. Are you from the Southeast of America? And I'm going, well, no, I'm in the middle of Oregon, middle of the valley of Oregon. But today we're going to be working on Civil War Sampler by Barbara Block. Boy, you know, I have a heck of a time saying her name, Barbara Brockman. That's the correct spelling, I think. And today we're working on Calico Puzzle and Tennessee. So number 20, let's see, we're on page 16. We're starting the grouping called 9 Patchers. And so I picked, these are the two that it shows. And they just were so sort of unpleasant looking. But I replicated them with these two fabrics. I used this for the background. Isn't that a pretty one? And then for the darker brown squares, oh, I put it over across the way. Well, I'll hold this up. So that's going to be the darker taupe, but it had a little bit of yellow in it to go with these. So that's what I'm using, is those two. And that's for the Tennessee block. And I like the excerpt that they have in here. It's talking about dancing the Virginia reel, and that's what this is supposed to appear to be like. 2 couples in line doing their dance. And it talks about how in 1861, Tennessee was the last state to join the Confederacy. Although it was a tight vote in the state, and there were, throughout the whole war, there were constant factions within Tennessee fighting, as well as the main big war that was going on outside of their state. So they saw more battles in the state of Tennessee than any other state. And this is talking about an excerpt from a diary called from Leora Babe Sims. And it says, Barbara says, but this young lady, Leora, saw the beginning of it all through a careless girl's eyes. And she says, isn't our success miraculous, she wrote a friend. Memphis is a perfect campground. I think there could be as many as 20,000 troops here now. We often ride out and look at them, and they are so picturesque. The soldiers are all polite and gentlemanly, and I declare those rotten Yankees are too determined. Why don't they behave themselves and quit this war? Can't you just hear that whiner kid going? My goodness. So it was based on Tennessee. And so this is the block I'm working on for Tennessee. Sorry, I have it in my box lid, trying to keep track of it. Wait a minute, there's a spot. So I'm gonna put this together and then you'll get to see them. And then the next one we're gonna work on is called the Calico Puzzle. Now, I don't understand why it would be called the Calico Puzzle. Because this is, let me take it out of there so you can see it better. And it's always fun to see how I can't hardly line up the box correct anyway. Let's see, we'll put them over this way so you can see better, right in here. Okay, so the Calico Puzzle, the Calico Puzzle had in this rendition, had 4 navy blues with 2 yellows, or a golden and a yellow. And then this one was all oddballs and didn't look good to me, so I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna do that one. So it's had 4 navy blues, and then it had the 2 yellows with the darker yellow going that way, and then the dark yellow going that way. Sort of like a pinwheel, only expanded out from the center. And so when it talks about doing 9 patches, 369. So apparently there's a group of these blocks that are all going to be rows of 3, which would make it a 9 patch. Most all of these fabrics are Marcus fabrics. Not all the same designers, but most of them are Marcus fabrics. Okay, Calico puzzle. It's talking about the spring fashion that Clara could only dream about. Get that dress. Isn't that something? There had to be hoops under there too, huh? During the war's first year, Clara Solomon began a diary. One of 6 daughters of a New Orleans dry goods merchant, a cloth and material merchant, 16-year-old Clara recorded her reactions to the Yankee occupation, her father's absence while he was away in the army, and her family's increasing poverty. She wrote in the slang of her generation, revealing that teenagers even 150 years ago had slang for what they expressed. And so she talks about her friend Alice, who looked particularly Jimmy in a clean muslin. Alice, I often think of you. Ain't that cool? I wonder if ain't was part of the teenage vernacular. By fall, she was complaining about the price of cotton. Former bit calicos are now 20 and 25 cents. What will people do? Well, if you can remember, 2 bits was 25 cents. So a bit was like 12.5 cents. So if the calicos at the beginning of the war were 12.5 cents a yard, and now they're 20 and 25 cents a yard, that'd be, what is that, 100% markup? So the price of prints had doubled. Like most teenagers, she found pretty dresses a major concern. Doesn't that just take you right back to Gone with the Wind and how that young girl was just talking constantly about her dresses and totally missed out on the seriousness of a war? And here at the part of her diary, and she's talking about, how often have I returned home almost downhearted at the remembrance of the pretty dresses and faces I had seen. This was after she had ambled through town and looked at other people who had new dresses, could afford 25 cent to 50 cent a yard, or 25 cent a yard fabrics. So we can remember that Clara and fabric shortages with the Calico puzzle block. Maybe that's why this block here has so many different types of fabric in it, because you're just using scraps. And it was first named the Calico puzzle based on this information, but back in 1930. So apparently in 1930, I think I've mentioned it, but there was a book. They really were interested in the history of 80 years prior. So it would have been 1850s, 1840s, and the Kansas City Star printed this in 1930. And here we are at 2025. Good grief, we're really, another 100 years has gone by, huh? So the reference is from Elliot Ashkenazi, an editor of the Civil War Diary of Clara Solomon, growing up in New Orleans, 1861 to 1862. Okay, so I'll put these two together and then give you a shot of those at the end of the movie. And, oh, I'm supposed to not call these movies, but what the heck, they're movies. All right, hope you're having a lovely day. It's sunshiny and I should be out cleaning out my garden spot. I just don't know if I'm going to do a garden this year. I just don't have the spazoom to go do it. maybe I'll tackle some of that this afternoon. Oh well. Thanks for all your encouragement with your comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Hello again. Hey, we got these 2 blocks done. I wanted to show you the end result. Now, the first one was the dancing one, with the dancing the Virginia reel, and the block is called Tennessee. And this is how I made it. But I only used 2 different fabrics. And you know, I think I should have done it more like what they're doing, because these don't stand out. And these are supposed to be the dancers standing, facing each other as couples. So I should have had this a slightly different fabric than these 2. But I don't know, symmetry, has a lot to say for symmetry. Okay, so that's the Tennessee block. And this one is the Calico puzzle with the 4 navy blues and then the 2 different yellows. I like it. It's nice and very defined differences between the different colors. It looks, again, symmetry. It looks good. What blocks are you working on? Are you using Marcus fabrics, or are you using the Pride and Prejudice line? What are you using? Let me know. Okay, and now did I mention that our next one? No, I don't think I did. The next one we're going to do is called Tea Leaf, which looks like a maple leaf to me. And it's talking about the sassafras that is made from roots and barks. That sounds interesting. This will be fun. And then this next one is called Ohio Star. Now, we're pretty familiar with that Ohio Star, aren't we? Yeah, I think that's the star that Missouri Star uses. I'm not sure, but it seems to be, it's awfully familiar looking. So those are our 2 that next time we'll be working on. So here, this weekend, we've gotten quite a few things done. We've gotten 2 of the Civil War blocks done, 1 of the Christmas figs block done. I finished, sandwiched, quilted, and edged my hunter's dream for my grandson. I cleaned up and turned the edges over and finished them on the smash up quilt, that beautiful, beautiful quilting that Lynn Lockard did. And then the third thing was I finished an edge on something. What was it? Well, I guess that's what I did. That's all I can remember. All right, well, hope you're having a wonderful time, and I'm sure enjoying the sunshine. Oregon can get very dreary in January, February, and March. But anyway, now we're in the summer, huh? All right, take care. Bye-bye.